and plenty of problems. Africa is a continent of striking contrasts, where hope and hardship often exist side by side. Africa is massive. You could fit the US, China, India, and much of Europe inside it. Its sheer scale is hard to grasp until you see it mapped out against the rest of the world. It's loaded with diamonds, gold, oil, cobalt, the raw materials powering the modern world. These resources are the backbone of industries everywhere, from smartphones to skyscrapers. Its lands are fertile, its landscapes breathtaking, and its people are the youngest on the planet. Africa's natural beauty is matched only by the vibrancy and resilience of its people. The median age? 19. That's a continent brimming with energy and potential. Imagine the possibilities when so many are just starting their lives, full of dreams and ambition. So why, with all this wealth, are so many Africans still poor? Why do glittering skyscrapers stand next to neighborhoods struggling to get by? The contradiction is stark: immense resources, yet persistent poverty. It's a puzzle that has frustrated generations. It's like owning a mansion but being forced to live in the shed. The wealth is there, but it's just out of reach for most. The wealth is visible, but the people aren't reaping the benefits. Instead, daily life for many remains a struggle. This isn't just bad luck. It's the result of a system built over centuries to keep things this way. Colonialism carved up the continent, setting the stage for exploitation. Africa's story isn't one of failure, but of a fight against incredible odds. Every step forward has been hard-won, shaped by resistance and resilience. To understand why the giant is only now stirring, we have to look at the scars left by a harsh history. The legacy of colonization still lingers in every corner. The story isn't just about what Africa lacks, it's about what's been taken. For generations, outsiders have extracted wealth, leaving little behind. Imagine having a winning lottery ticket, but someone else always cashes it in. The promise of prosperity slips away, time and again. The resources flow out, but the profits don't build schools or hospitals. Instead, communities are left waiting for the benefits that never arrive. This is the central paradox of modern Africa: a land of plenty, yet a land where too many go without. To understand it, we have to go back to the beginning. Only by tracing the roots of this paradox can we see how Africa's past shapes its present and its future. Let's step back in time, far before the world we know today, to a continent rich in culture, innovation, and diversity. Brace yourself, because this story is not always easy to hear. It's a tale marked by resilience, but also by deep pain and injustice. Before colonial lines were drawn, Africa was home to powerful kingdoms, vibrant cities, and thriving trade routes that connected it to the world. Its people were skilled traders, artists, and leaders, shaping their own destinies. Then came the transatlantic slave trade, a demographic catastrophe that stole millions of the continent's best and brightest, tearing families apart and draining entire communities of their future. This shattered societies, leaving deep wounds that made later exploitation easier. The scars of this era still echo through generations. Next came the scramble for Africa. European powers gathered in Berlin, carving up the continent with rulers and pens, ignoring the people who lived there and their histories. Borders split ancient communities and forced rivals together, planting seeds of future conflict and division that would haunt the continent for decades. Colonialism wasn't partnership, it was extraction, pure and simple. The land's wealth was taken, while its people were left with little. Railways and roads were built, but only to move resources out, not to connect people or foster unity within Africa. Africans dug up gold and cocoa, but were denied the chance to learn how to process or profit from them. The real value left the continent, leaving little behind. When independence finally came, nations inherited broken borders, fractured societies, and economies designed to serve others, not themselves. The colonial powers left, but the systems they built, the laws, the borders, the economic structures, remained, shaping life long after. The fight for true independence had only just begun. The journey to heal, rebuild, and reclaim Africa's destiny continues to this day. Independence brought hope, but also a harsh reality. New nations were handed political systems they'd never run, modeled after their colonizers' iron-fisted rule. Power vacuums led to instability, coups, civil wars, and dictatorships. Corruption flourished as leaders used state resources to stay in power. Economically, countries were stuck exporting raw goods and importing expensive finished products. This kept them trapped in debt and dependency. The dream of prosperity collided with weak institutions and economic traps. The excitement of the 60s faded into the disillusionment of the 70s and 80s. The giant wasn't just sleeping, it was wounded and chained by debt. The promise of freedom felt, for many, like a false dawn. The legacy of colonialism was a perfect storm of problems. The struggle for real independence was just beginning. Africa's fight was far from over. The global economy isn't a fair game for Africa. Most African economies still depend on exporting raw materials. When prices crash, entire countries suffer. Building factories to add value takes money. Money most nations didn't have, so they borrowed. Loans from the IMF and World Bank came with strings-cut spending, privatize, open markets. This led to a debt trap. More money went to interest than to people. Foreign institutions gained power over national policies. Trade rules favored wealthy countries, who protected their own industries while demanding Africa open up. Subsidized imports undercut local farmers, making countries import food they could grow themselves. The system is rigged to keep wealth flowing out. It's economic colonialism, less visible but just as powerful. The result? Africa remains tangled in dependency. The global economy's rules keep the giant on its knees. Breaking free is no simple task. Nothing destroys progress faster than conflict. Colonial borders forced rivals together, sparking civil wars after independence. War drives away talent, destroys infrastructure, and drains resources. The cost isn't just buildings, it's trust, stability, and hope. Outside forces often fuel these conflicts, selling weapons or backing dictators to access resources. Resource wars turn wealth into bullets, not schools. Instability in one country spills over to neighbors, spreading chaos. Even where there's peace, the threat of conflict holds back growth. For Africa to rise, it needs peace and stability. Without it, the future remains uncertain. Imagine being a farmer whose life depends on the rain. Now, the weather is unpredictable. Africa contributes little to global emissions but suffers the most from climate change. Droughts, floods, and expanding deserts threaten food and water security. Climate change fuels conflict over resources and displaces millions. Rising seas threaten cities, storms and plagues wipe out years of progress. On top of this, infrastructure is lacking. Roads built for extraction, not connection, make trade within Africa difficult. Poor electricity and internet hold back businesses, schools, and hospitals. Goods rot in fields because there's no way to get them to market. The infrastructure gap is a massive brake on progress. Even with talent and resources, development is an uphill battle. Africa faces a double-challenge climate crisis and broken infrastructure. Overcoming both is essential for real growth. Africa's greatest resource is its people, but education remains out of reach for millions. Primary school enrollment is up, but classrooms are overcrowded and under-resourced. Few make it to secondary or higher education, and outdated curricula stifle creativity. Many graduates lack practical skills, fueling youth unemployment. The education gap limits innovation and economic growth. Healthcare, clean water, and sanitation are daily struggles for many. When basic needs aren't met, people can't focus on building a better future. The cycle of survival holds back the continent's potential. Unlocking human talent is Africa's biggest opportunity and challenge. Despite everything, despite the challenges, the setbacks, and the headlines, Africa is stirring. There's a quiet energy in the air, a sense that something big is on the horizon. The defining trait here isn't despair, it's hustle. Every day, millions wake up determined to make things happen, to create opportunities where none existed before. Across the continent, people are building their own future, brick by brick, idea by idea. From city streets to rural villages, ambition is everywhere. Tech hubs in Nairobi, Lagos, and Cape Town are buzzing with innovation, filled with young minds eager to solve problems and shape tomorrow. Mobile banking, drone deliveries, and smart farming are transforming lives, connecting people and ideas in ways never seen before. Governance is improving in places, citizens are demanding accountability, and leaders are being called to answer for their promises. Countries like Rwanda and Botswana show what's possible with good leadership, setting examples for others to follow. Social media and grassroots movements are pushing for reform, giving a voice to the youth and the unheard, sparking real change. Africa's creative energy is exploding, Nollywood, Afrobeats, and fashion are reshaping global culture, inspiring millions beyond the continent. This isn't just entertainment, it's a declaration of confidence, a bold statement that Africa is here and ready to shine. The world is starting to listen to Africa's voice, recognizing its influence and the power of its ideas. The giant is not just waking up, it's finding its place on the world stage, claiming space in conversations that matter. The question now, is the world truly ready for what Africa has to say, for the innovation, creativity, and leadership it brings? The future is unwritten, but the potential is undeniable. Every day, new stories are being written, new dreams are being chased. Africa's story is far from over. In fact, it's only just beginning.